Thanks for joining me today. Behind me, I have a 2024 Dodge Hornet RT with a track pack. Yes, it also is the plug-in hybrid. So today we're going to run the 100-mile real-world mile-per-gallon test. And since the EPA doesn't give you an average mile per gallon with the combination of the electric miles and the gas mileage, we're going to do that today. Now, we just had the Denali a couple weeks ago, and this is basically the sister car of that. So we're going to see how they compare at the end of this test. So let's take a quick look at this, then we'll get to the gas station and get filled up. This is the black, which they call 8-ball. And with the track pack, you get these 20-inch wheels and the painted red calipers. Going back here basically is the same as the Denali. Looks really nice. Take a look at the little cargo area here. And this one is not powered. So the RT does not come with a powered liftgate. Interesting. Not a whole lot of space back here. Probably enough if you had a small family or just a couple might work. See if there's any space underneath here. We've got the charging cable, pretty much is the only thing down here. Do have a, what we got here? We do have a 12 volt back here. All right. That's all of that. And of course, got to put that down manually. There is the charge port right there. We are all charged up and ready to go. The interior, this is the black Alcantara interior that comes along with that track pack. Got a couple vents and some USBs back here. And here is the interior. Also with this track pack, of course, you get all this leather and black and red stitching throughout. Powered seats. These are heated, but they are not ventilated. So here is the dash. You can tell, if you watch the video on the Denali, you can tell that the vents are a little bit different, but most of everything else is going to be the same. One thing I noticed right away is right here, this was the drive mode switch on the Denali. This is the power switch here. The drive mode is here, but it's power switch on the Denali. So that's just a couple differences right there. Other than that, a lot of it looks very similar to the other one, so which is kind of expected. This does have the 1.3 liter turbo 4-cylinder with the 15.5 kilowatt hour battery. Let's go take this up, get it filled up, see, what we're gonna get out of this. We should get about 32 miles of electric range before that gas engine kicks in, and then we'll have to see what happens after that. Okay, we have made it to the gas station, so there's no special requirements on octane, so we are just going to use 87. They just delivered this to us, so we shouldn't have to wait very long. Should just probably, well, not even a half a gallon, it looks like. All right, so we're gonna wait 30 seconds and then we're gonna go ahead and top this off, let the gas settle down into the tank. Before we do that, it'll be like, all right, about 3, 2, 1 pull. All right, that's it. All right, so we put in just about a half a gallon, a little over half a gallon. And if anybody is wondering, as of right now, the end of March, we're at $439 for 93, $369 for 87, and $389 for diesel. Let's get in, let's clear out the trip meters, and let's get this test started. Okay, so we're gonna get started up, and I'm gonna clear out the trips, and then we're gonna head out. As we go, I will update you on the parameters of the test, and then a little bit later, I'll give you some more information about this car, just in case it's something that you're looking at, and maybe you can kind of a little comparison between it and the Denali. This always starts up in hybrid mode. As you can see right there, that is a little bit different than the Tonale. Basically, it's going to run in the electric motor unless I give it a lot of gas and trigger the engine to come on. If that happens, then that's just what happens, because this is just normal. We get in the car, start it up, and we go. All right, so let's get this reset here on trip B. Gotta jump over. Reset. All right, we are reset, so we are ready to go. So let's head out and check out this beautiful weather we've got today. If you haven't seen one of these tests before, I'm gonna run you down what the parameters of this test are. There's really not a whole lot. It's basically get in the car and go. So real world is you get in the car and you go. You don't change settings, you don't set eco, you don't do any of that stuff. So that's not what we do here. We get in the car and we go. So we have 100 miles to drive, and it's 50 miles in one direction, 50 miles in the exact opposite direction. So that way we counteract any wind, any terrain, anything like that. So basically making it as, balanced as we possibly can. Same thing with the gas. We fill up the gas, we let the gas settle for 30 seconds down into the tank, and then we do one top off. And we just do that at the beginning and at the end, just to make sure that we are putting as close to the same amount of gas in it both times, so that we can get the most accurate calculation. What do real people do? Real people drive 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, on average. Not everybody. Some a little under, most probably a little bit more over, but generally the average is about 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. So highway we'll be driving 60, interstate 75, and in the city we'll be driving roughly between 35 and 50. We will go through 2 towns in the first 50 miles. In those 2 towns, we will make a full loop through those towns before we exit town and head to the next one. The reason for that is because we want to make sure that we hit stoplights, stop signs, different things like that. Things that are going to affect your miles per gallon. And it is things that you do on a daily basis. So we will do that through both of those 2 towns. We'll get up on the interstate. We'll run 10 miles in one direction, 10 miles back in the other direction, come back, go do the same thing through those 2 towns in reverse order. And then we'll end up back at the gas station, and we will fill up, top off, just like we did when we started. We will use a calculator to calculate how much fuel that we have used and get our real mile per gallon average, and we will compare that to what the car itself says that we are getting. Sometimes the car manufacturers don't, register exactly the same as what we get. And sometimes they're really close. We've had some that were like almost dead on. And some that reported less than what you were actually getting, which was great. But there's a lot of them that are under. And that's what we're gonna do today, is make sure that you know exactly where you're at, what you're gonna average on a daily basis. I will also update you along the way. Each town that we enter and when we exit, I will update you to where we are, what our mile per gallon is, how many miles we've driven, and that way you stay up to date with what's going on during this drive. I will also, a little bit later, give you guys some more information about this car that you may be wanting to know. We've entered our first town and we have gone 8.6 miles and 8.6 miles of electric, so we haven't got any miles per gallon yet, or basically it says 75, but that's the highest it registers. So fully electric so far. We are going to make the loop through this town, and I will update you as we leave. We are out of town now and out on the highway, so let's do the update. And so far we are 14.4 miles. We got 14.1 miles of electric and 0.3 miles of gas. So yeah, the engine did kick in, but it only kicked in for like a block. So I'm not sure why, but that's just what it did. Still 75 miles per gallon. Next, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about this car before we get to our next town. Stellantis decided to combine Dodge and Alfa Romeo and bring out the Tonale and the Hornet. They are sister cars. They basically have most of the same underpinnings except for the outer shell and some suspension things. So you've got Dodge has put their type of suspension and things like that in here, and their dynamics and some of the things that they do, and the Alfa Romeo side kind of did the same thing with their part of it, but the platform is the same. Well, the thing that I noticed so far is that this hybrid mode on this one has kicked the engine on more than what the Tonale did. The Tonale basically went complete electric unless I gave it a lot of pedal and really wanted to accelerate. This one just randomly has came on twice now. It may have to do with the sunny outside, black interior. I've got the air conditioning on to try to stay comfortable. And maybe that is kicking on the engine so that it can provide the right climate in here. And if that's the case, then that's just perfectly fine. That's how this works. This is part of our test. The base is the Hornet GT. And what it looks like on pricing is you're going to start out right around $31,400 to be exact. That is going to get you a 2.0 liter turbo inline four-cylinder. The Hurricane 4 is what it's called, and it's going to provide about 268 horsepower. Now, I have driven that one before, and there is a review of it on the channel if you want to check that out. I actually enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun driving it. Now, the RT has the 1.3 liter turbo four-cylinder with the electric drive motor, and that's going to provide about 288 horsepower, and that is what we are in right now. This RT is going to start out at $41,400, and then you're going to add $5,000 if you want the plus. Now, this one here, like I said, it is just the plain RT, but they did add the track pack that we talked about earlier, which added wheels, the painted calipers, these nice Alcantara seats, and a few other odds and ends things. It does have, I believe, a two-stage active dampening system. It drives smooth, drives pretty similar to the Tonale. I think it feels a little bit tighter steering-wise. I really like it, and I'm not sure quite yet which one I prefer. I've only been driving this for about an hour, and I haven't quite made that decision yet. There's some similar cars, just about the exact same thing, or very, very close to the same thing, and this one's a little bit cheaper. So I probably would choose the Hornet. We're getting ready to come into our next town, and I will update you as soon as we get there. We are coming into the next town, and so far, we have went 28.5 miles. We got 26 miles of electric and 2.6 miles of gas. So the gas, like I said, mentioned, the gas engine has kicked in a couple times. I believe it may be just trying to help take care of the climate situation in here to keep it cool, keep me comfortable, just like you would want to be comfortable when you're driving for 2.5 hours. We are going to make our loop through this town, and then we'll get up on the interstate. We made the loop through town, and right now we have went 37 miles. We got 32.4 miles of electric, 4.7 miles of gas, and we're still registering 75 miles per gallon. So we will probably lose some of that as we get up here on the interstate, or this interstate drive. So we'll get around here and let you guys hear this engine, see what you think, or maybe you'll hear the exhaust more than the engine. But here we go. 3, 2, 1, to the floor. Wow, this thing really gets up and moves. This thing took off like a rocket. That was impressive. Really like that. I think it actually was more impressive than the Alfa Romeo, so I really like that. So now we're 37.9 miles and still 75 miles per gallon. So we'll see if that changes. I'll update you right as we get ready to turn around and head back in the other direction. We are coming up on our exit. So update real quick, 50.8 miles, got 18.2 miles of gasoline and 32.6 miles of electric. So 75 miles per gallon still. Hasn't changed yet. I will bet you that halfway back in the other direction on the interstate, that is where we're gonna see that change. This is our exit, and we're just gonna loop around up here. Generally, we don't have a whole lot of traffic at this intersection, so usually we can just loop around. But today, there seems to be several semis out on the road. So this might take just a little bit more time than normal. All we're gonna do is go right over the overpass and right back down on the interstate. So right here. And like I said, there's a little bit more traffic today than normal. Not too bad. Get right back out here. And really didn't get to hear that exhaust really that much, or the engine. It's pretty quiet in here. The exhaust is just a nice hum, but we'll try again. We'll floor it here in 3, 2, 1 to the floor. But you can see it accelerates very, very quickly. Wow. Get locked back in at 75. And so now 74.9 miles per gallon. It's dropping now. So this trip on the interstate, it will probably drop most of the way. So, all right, I will update you when we get ready to get off of the interstate and let you know where we're at. We are coming up to our exit off of the interstate. Where we are at now, 65.2 miles, 54.2 miles per gallon. Just about balanced out with the electric and gas distance. So, and if you hadn't seen down there, also 3,800 miles this car has on it, so it should be decently broke in. Okay, so we are gonna go down here. This is gonna take us back into town. We are gonna do a loop in the reverse order that we did it the first time through this town, and then we will head back out on the highway. So I will update you after we get the loop made through town and let you know where we kind of reside at. We are exiting town now, getting back out on the highway. So this is what we're looking at after that loop through town, 74.6 miles. We've got 50.4 miles per gallon. And so we should be seeing that dropping even more. So we got 36 miles of electric, 38.8 miles of engine. So we're gonna be on the highway heading into our next town. As soon as we get to that town, I will give you an update. We have made it into town now, so we'll make a loop through this town before we do that. Update you, we are at 89.9 miles or 90 miles and 45.7 miles per gallon. So that's where we're at. We're gonna make a loop through this town, and then I will update you guys as soon as we complete that. We made our loop through town and we're heading back out on the highway, and we'll be making our way back to the gas station. Where we are sitting right now is 94.7 miles and 45.2 miles per gallon. It's looking like it's pretty close to what the Denali was getting at this same point in time. So we're gonna head on back to the gas station and I will update you when we get there. Made it back to town, head up to the gas station here where we're at right now. This says 102.6 and 44.3 miles per gallon. So we're probably gonna hit 103, which is so strange because I've had cars, this whole drive was under 100 miles. So I don't understand why some are way over, some are under. It's just crazy because I drive the exact same route the entire time, every test. Okay, we're here. We're gonna get the same gas pump without any issues. We'll just pull right on in here. Final numbers, I will take a picture of this so it'll be on the screen later. But 102.9 miles, 44.3 miles per gallon, a total of 63.6 gas miles and 39.2 electric miles. Okay, let's get her filled up, topped off, and then we'll run some numbers. We're back here at the gas station. Of course, we're doing 87 octane again. And we've started. Probably somewhere around about 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 gallons. There's 2. All right, 2.2. All right, so now we're going to do our pull here in about 30 seconds or less than 30 seconds now. So just let the gas settle down a little bit. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One pull. All right, that's it. You see, we got a total of 2.369, so that's what we're gonna use to divide by. Let's go inside and run some numbers. Let's run some numbers. We got 102.9 divided by 2.369. 2.369 equals 43.43. You guys could see that well enough. And you can see the car average 44.3. So we're only off by about 1 mile per gallon. So that actually ended up pretty good. Still off a little bit, but the tonale was off more than that. And if you haven't seen that video, make sure that you watch that. It'll be linked at the end of this one and down in the description. So that's your numbers. The 2024 Dodge Hornet RT with the track pack will give you a real world mile per gallon average of 43.4. If you're not subscribed, go down, hit subscribe, and then click on one of the videos that's up here. One of the videos is going to be for the Alfa Romeo Tonale, and the other one is going to be one YouTube thinks that you're going to want to watch. So I think you'll like them both, and I'll see you in the next real world mile per gallon test.